Today's April 20th, 2022, and I had that meetup with someone, like I had said before. And I met him off of Match.com, and I am always extremely hesitant, especially now since what Jason Wallace has done. And the other guy prior, 2 days prior. He invited me over to his house, his apartment, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I only had disclosed, obviously, through my pictures and stuff, that I was pregnant and that the father wasn't in the picture and that I collected disability. And so I've only had about 5 hours of sleep so far. He invited me over. By the time I'd gotten over there and we had talked and everything, and I told him about my circumstances, and he had divulged to me that he was talking about God, this and that, and I thought, nobody can be that bad if they're trying hard to use the name of God. And when I got to his place, it was in a gated area, so I knew that there wasn't really much that he was going to really do. A majority of the time, I feel like people understand they would get in trouble if they raped people. And now my story is contradictory to that, where I tell people, no, they won't defend you if you call rape, and they clearly think that it's your fault that the man gaslighted you into hanging out with them, that it's just us being manipulated, and that's clearly okay. It is clearly not okay. I wonder whose dog that is. It's so cute. It looks like a Papillon mix because it's a little bit thicker. He had a tiny little Yorkie too, and it was loving all over me. You could tell the dog had issues with him because immediately when he opened the door, he started like cowering and peeing the floor. The man was overly affectionate with the dog, but didn't potty train well. He had the dog for 3.5 years, he said, but the dog this morning even took a crap right there on the floor because he didn't take enough time to take it outside. He rushes the dog, and the dog lives to have to serve this man. So that's the sad thing. And that crazy lady saying something about I had a puppy mill. No, definitely not a puppy mill. And people know that, and officers even know that, and they cannot lie. If they do, then that's on them and their God. They're going straight to fucking hell. And that's what I try to tell people. All these liars, all these manipulative people, even in positions where they've got badges and keys to the city. And this man disclosed to me that he had actually gone to prison like 6 times. He'd been to jail, he'd been to prison, he'd, all these things. And that I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He said he was working with his local church and that he was preaching now. He just got done, with a men's group, and I thought, that's awesome. Hopefully he won't be all weird at me and try to, touching me and stuff like that. A woman can't trust a man, no matter how much they preach, no matter how much they talk about God, they talk about realities and this and that. You cannot trust men. There's something wrong with their mentality. their chemistry and whatnot, the physiological changes that happen in their bodies when they're exposed or near a woman. So, because of my pheromones. And apparently I have extremely potent pheromones in order to get so many people to become stimulated by me. I was even talking to a young man at Kroger, asking him where a particular item was because it was one of their listed items as like a free item with a coupon. And I looked all over the store because it said that location had inventory of it, and he and I couldn't find it. We looked all over the store. At one point, he stuck his hands in his pockets. At first, I thought it was a joke growing up, every man that sticks his hands in his pockets and whatever. No, it is no joke. The majority of the time, they're hiding a chubby. The majority of the time, they're trying to hide something that they've done wrong. And that's where they came up with these psychological tactics, thinking that women fall under the same categories, and they don't. Far superior at manipulating if they needed to be. And I just don't, it's far superior in many other things as well, because of our pain tolerance, because of all these different attributes about us, our flexibility, yada yada. And you can't denounce that. If you look at the statistics behind it, you'll understand where I'm coming from when I state that women are the better of the genders. I mean, and it's hard to say that and openly admit that, but men are perverse, and men cannot control themselves. Men are sick. If they do not believe that you are entirely 100% beautiful, then they will find reasons in order to destroy you. If you're not fucking them, and just fucking, it's not even about having a relationship with these women. It's just about having sex, and that's it. I wish that I would be able to find men that I find respectable, but I cannot. Like I said, Match.com, struck up a conversation. He invited me out at first for lunch. I couldn't make it because I was putting too much effort into myself, getting ready. I am sickened by my reality to the point where I want to drive off of something finally. Like, the hell with a noose, the hell with trying to get my big ass up somewhere high so that I can snap my neck. I just want to drive erratically and cause pain and suffering to the world around me, and not give a shit who I crash into or how it goes down, or speeding into, careening into like the side of a bridge so I can go over, because it's not the lack of sleep why I'm crying. It's because after I disclosed to him that the system was fucking with me, and I heated up my baked potatoes at his house, nothing fancy. I mean, it wasn't like he was, Chef Boyardee over there. And he was 47 years old. I'm 34. So I thought that he kept telling me, you're safe. I know that's what the other guy said, but you're really safe here. And I was like, I don't feel safe anywhere, but thank you. Like, I always try to make it out to be like, and I was dressed nicely. You saw what I looked like prior to meeting this guy. Although I didn't have that top on. I didn't have the blue top on anymore. I switched over to this top. So, and, yeah, and my hair was still done nicely. I got over to his house. We discussed all this stuff. He said he had to go to bed early so that he could get up early. He said normally he gets up at 3 a.m., but he was going to sleep in until 5. So it's approximately 5:30 in the morning, somewhere around there. And I'm tired. I just want to kill myself. Every interaction that I have is so belittling. Every interaction that I have is so mutilating toward my overall health and well-being. It just destroys me. Why is it that men will utilize the words of God? They will utilize the things around them, their demeanor toward women when they snap, and then they blame us for it. Just like Jason Wallace couldn't control himself, and now I'm in this predicament of being pregnant, and you know, that was fine. The homelessness wasn't so bad because I managed. But being pregnant and homeless and realizing that I'm not going to keep this baby because I have no means to support it, it doesn't even destroy me anymore. I've cried enough over it. I've realized that if this baby leaves my hands, then it was meant to be that way. And I have always thought that. I've always had a positive outlook or very optimistic toward my circumstances and how, sick they are, perverse. My parents, my siblings, all of this, I always told myself, one day it's going to get better. I always prayed, one day it's going to get better. One day they won't see you as an object. One day they won't hurt you, is what I kept saying. And that never came true. That's not true. So, he tried his best in trying to, bake me the potatoes, but prior to that, I told him something about, that I shower up at the gyms and everything, and that I'm pretty good about, maintaining. And then he had said about, well, why don't you take a bath then? Or, do you need a bath? Or, do you want to use my shower? There's also a bathtub in there. And I said, sure, I can, maybe come back some other time and take a bath in your bathtub. And he said, oh no, it'll just take a minute for me to wash out and you can have a bath now. And it was already like 9:30 by that point. And we had only just met up approximately an hour before at the Kroger, is where we met, a public place. And the first thing he even said to me, because I pulled up next to him, he had given me a couple phone calls. We only chatted a couple times over text. I didn't really read through his profile because men are just like roaches. Like, there's millions of them. There's no reason to identify one amongst the others. They're all just roaches, men. That's how I perceive it. And even more so now since I've had that interaction with the father of this baby. So, and I'm sure people probably think, who would let this little cute girl, who would let this girl go around big and pregnant like she is, in danger of being harassed, in danger of being raped, in danger of being robbed? How could they do that to a woman? But apparently I'm not a woman. I'm nothing. I'm absolutely nothing. And it's clear. It's absolutely clear in the mannerisms of men toward me. The mannerisms toward, the system and me. And all of this, everything, my entire life. I told everyone, it's the people that get into my sphere one-on-one that end up disappointing me because I have the expectations that they're going to uphold their word, and they don't. I should know better. I should know better by now not to trust anyone. I mean anyone. Not even the officers, not these people that I meet that tell me it's safe. It is never safe. And I had to realize that through Jason Wallace. And realizing that is the most painful thing. Painful. It's extremely painful. because I had always hoped that there was some type of prince out there for me, some man that would be willing to sacrifice for me like I would sacrifice for him. But there is no such person out there. Not for me. Maybe for pretty girls. Maybe for people that matter. Maybe for people with money. Maybe all this and that. Maybe all of these things. It's raining right now. It would be the perfect time to speed off of something and crash and never make it out alive. I swear to God, if this cuts off video, you always cut me off when I start crying and everything, because you don't want that to be captured for everyone to see. The truth. And then I have to sit there and touch it, and then it's fake. You know, it alters my reality from the crying. When you stop the videos, and you know that, stop doing it. I want to get this on, so that if I'm ever not here, and people know why I'm not here, the actions of others toward me, and why I feel terrible, and why it's completely okay to feel like shit. Because everybody around you is shit, and they make you feel like shit. Including the fucking internet that sits there and mocks people. All the different aspects of the internet, you know, YouTube and whatever, all the different things and the way things work themselves out. Just manipulation tactics, and they're in themselves. Ways to control our minds, alter our frames of reality by offering us certain algorithms. And I'm over it, completely over it. I'm sick to my stomach right now. Sitting outside of a gas station so that I get proper enough lighting in order to disclose this stuff. And so back to meeting this guy. You know, we had talked. I sat on the couch. We talked about what was going on with me. Then all of a sudden, he was like, well, you know, that's, you know, let me run you a bath. And I was like, I really don't want a fucking bath, bro, but whatever, if that's what you're offering, if that's what you're forcing me to do, that's fine, I guess. So, because people are so crazy. They get into their mindset. I can't switch their mind. I never said I wanted a bath right then. All I said was, I might need one in the future. Like, I don't know why people do this to me. Why are you so crazy? Like, every single human being that I come in contact with will run with one thing I say and think it's the absolute truth. Think that I asked for it. No, bro, I did not want to get wet again. Like, I was done. Like, for the day. I went, showered up, danced around a little bit. I wasn't that sweaty and gross. But then he ran the tub anyway. And I told him, I said, well, I don't even have my clothes to change into. You know, I don't have my pajamas. I don't have, you know, my toothbrush and everything to get ready for bed. Because at one point I asked him, I said, are you, you know, something about, well, if you're going to let me crash here, because he was talking about how he could find me access to shelters because he knows people and yada yada. And I told him, I said, believe me, I have no hope for that. I know that the systems are fucking with me, and they end up getting told I'm not allowed to get certain access to things. I'm not allowed to get help. Because I clarified that shelters are disgusting, which they are. Nobody, you know, they would rather see me suffer and die on the streets and see what I do. So that's sick of the U.S. government, because I know damn well that it's not just random people. This is not just coincidence. Like, my story is not just coincidental. These things are too scripted, and that is sick, because I didn't script this shit. So who the fuck is running my life? Who is ruining it? Who is running my fucking shit into the ground? Because Leticia just wants to avoid everyone. And then when she's exposed to people, because she's trying to interact, she's trying to find a companion. Online dating is not the fucking place for Leticia to find a companion, because these fucking jerks on there that want to rape her. So I had told him, I said, well, I need to run down to my truck. So he's like, okay, I'll walk you down there real quick, and then you can come back and have your bath. I said, and the only thing I fucking asked him for, the only thing I said prior to getting over there was, can I cook, can I bake a potato at your house? And he said, yeah. And I was like, thank you. So then he ran with it and he said, well, I don't have any butter. And I said, okay. He said, do you want me to get you some butter? I said, well, I'm vegan. I said, it has to be certain brands. So I gave him the explanation about which brands I can have, because he asked me. And I was like, okay, well, you don't have to get the butter, but if it's something you really want to do, then go for it. Like, none of my business. I didn't need the butter. I could eat the potato just fine the way it was. So he went to the Kroger and got that butter and a couple other things, I guess, for himself. Oh, why are men like this? Why are they like this? So I wanted the fucking potato. That's all I fucking wanted at his house. But my stomach had been upset all day from excessive motion, from lack of proper nutrition. And proper nutrition for me is to have some hearty greens at some point, a nice salad every day to help me function, the fiber and everything. Do I get that? No, because I'm just impoverished like everyone else, and I'm just of that lowly class, so I can't get what I want every fucking day. I get what I barely need. So, and we all have to just be okay with it. We all just have to be okay with it. Like I have been okay putting a smile on my face since I was a child, getting beat, and then no one saw it. Clearly they saw a happy, loving family. Sick. So, and then people wonder why I enjoy certain artists like Melanie Martinez and stuff, because of the darkness in there that I can relate to in her music. And so I know I shouldn't call out certain celebrities or whatever, because that just adds whatever nonsense to my story where people are like, blah, blah, blah. Stay the fuck away from me. I don't need shit from anybody unless they're actually truly trying to help me. And all these people are trying to do is help me into the grave on my own. And it's like, bitch, please. I already know that I can't kill myself in that way. I've had numerous fucking attempts and I keep coming back. So, that's sick. Fucking sick. God plays jokes on people. So, we go down to the car and I grab my shit. I puffed a couple times. I told him that I had a card, and I told him I just can't stop right now. I'm so stressed out. And as we were walking, his dog decided, and he didn't take the dog out when he got out immediately. He let the dog piss in the hallway a little bit, piss on the floor in the house, and never took the dog for a walk. He wanted to spend time talking to me, and I was like, okay, that's fine, cool, whatever. It's none of my business. You're the one mistreating your pet. It's none of my business, but I was concerned. So, and the dog is obviously spoiled in other ways, but then in some ways, it's neglected very severely because of the way that its demeanor is and the way that it was all over me. And, very odd. And I know the temperament of people's animals, they tell me a lot. Dogs disclose a lot to me. Cats do too, where people are like, pets don't talk. They kind of do. They kind of have told me he's gotten beat for things he wasn't in the wrong for. So, like taking a shit on the floor and peeing was not his fault. He couldn't hold it, and he told me that. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, this guy's gonna do whatever he wants with this dog. Let them do whatever the fuck they wanted with their dogs. This little tiny, he was so tiny and adorable. I just was like, if I had you, I would take care of you so well. Like, you'd get plenty of exercise and treats and whatever. But no. And his teeth were going also because, you know, and I feel bad because I think about my own dogs and how I didn't maintain their teeth well enough. So he ran me half of a bath and then stopped and was like, and he's like, well, I've got this nice smelling shampoo, because he had some like cheap ass Suave or something. And I was like, I don't even use that shit. It's all toxic. It's all got a bunch of chemical additives in it. That's why it's so cheap. That's why I avoid that kind of crap now, because I know the difference when I expose myself to certain additives. So I've been using organic things. I'm hungry now. I might have to go inside and get my water for my oatmeal and eat before I fall back asleep. I don't want to do this anymore. I completely don't want to do this. I don't want to go to the gyms anymore. At first, and I even told him last night, at first I thought it was funny. I thought it was just like God's joke against me, the universe against me, saying, you know, this is the way you're going to make up for the fact that you have squandered your life, and squandered it in the sense that you wanted to be dead. So here's a fate worse than death. And that is sick. And I thought, there is no God. There is no God. Instead, it's just the devil that runs this show. And I've known that since I was a kid. But I always wanted to believe that God was superior, that the words of God, that there were godly people, that there were people out there that would love me without being sexual with me, without taking advantage of me, without, you know, abusing me verbally and emotionally. So, unfortunately, I haven't come across anybody. Unfortunately, I've never come across anybody willing to just be a person toward me. And when I reject them toward dating and whatever, they completely flip out and they want to still just steal from me. They know how badly I've been abused. They know how badly I've suffered and sustained all this trauma. But they would much rather make it worse for me, to push me over the edge, finally. So no, I don't believe this guy was planted for me to see, and the same with Jason Wallace, you know, that they were planted in that way so that, you know, the universe and whatever, like, not even the universe, like, the government in itself, you know, was doing this shit to me. It's not that. It's just, like, the entire flow of nature and what I've been interacting with is always negative, and I try to push out positivity, but I just cannot right now. I'm tired. And I'm pissed, and I just want to drive off of a cliff. So everything hurts right now. My feet hurt. I know he was trying to be nice at that point, right? Or so I thought. And I get in the bathtub, and I sit there for about 5 minutes, and the water was extremely hot. So I knew that I wasn't safe being in there for too long. And by the time I was in there 5 minutes, I felt already flushed, already kind of dizzy. And so I stood up, and I've been very dizzy lately. I haven't been able to, like, keep my footing that well. And I'm not really sure what it is. I mean, obviously it's the pregnancy in itself, but that's to blame for that. But he was going on and on about how he was going to talk to 2 different people that were, you know, that knew shelters and whatever, and then he asked me about the warrant, and I told him where it was out of and stuff. So I went and took that bath, got out of the bath. I'm so sorry that I keep jumping back and forth. I know it's hard to keep up with my story. I know it's always hard when I'm very tired and I'm overwhelmed and I'm exhausted and suicidal. It's very hard to keep up with me. So, um, so backtrack. We met at the Kroger. We get to his house. Dog pisses everywhere. I'm in there talking to him. We talk for a while. He's getting overwhelmed on his phone, texting other people. I know when they get overwhelmed, they start allowing other fragments of reality to seep in. So I was like, okay, fine. This is not that important to this dude, whatever. He ran that bath. I got in it. By the time I got out, I asked him about the potato, and he heated me a potato in the microwave. I didn't ask him to. He was already preparing to do it on his own, so otherwise I would have said, where can I do it? I'll do it for myself. So I start eating my potato after it's done. During that, while I'm eating my potato, I thought I was safe enough to disclose to him that, he'd never, well, I actually told him in the car that when we parked and everything, I had to sit in his car for a moment as we drove up the hill toward the apartment. And I disclosed to him that I filed for rape, but that they didn't see it as that. Instead, they turned it around on me and said that I had falsified the report. So, as we were upstairs, he said, well, that's a something class D felony or some shit like that. Falsifying a police report, something about a felony. And I was like, I don't know, I guess. That's what they say. And I usually just go with whatever they say. I'm very compliant. Whatever the officers think that I'm guilty of, okay, here you go. Cuff me. I don't know what to do. Like, whatever. That's why a majority of the time they don't cuff me when I go in, because I'm so compliant. They know that I don't act out in front of them face to face. I'll do this shit behind people's back. I'll talk all fucking day long to therapists, to everyone that'll hear, all that shit. But when it comes to being startled and confronted by somebody that I know could shoot me, there's the difference. I will back down, generally. And I calm the fuck down, and then I try to see it from their stupid perspective, but they're just stupid, so I can't manage. And so then I end up getting in trouble. Always me. Because they're in the right, because they can shoot me. So, same thing with dudes that I've met up with. That's why I back down. I do things in a certain way because I'm trying to self-preserve, like don't want to get shot, don't want to get stabbed, don't know what the fuck. Some of these dudes are crazy. And even the people, like I said, in uniform are fucking deranged. And so I had told him about it. He said that he was going to call today to the department to see if the warrant was active. I told him, I said, well, the weird thing is that like the detective and the sergeant told me that I had a warrant, but when I went to go look it up online, it's not listed. And they said that they had to serve it first. They, had to hand it to me. I'm like, what the fuck are you people talking about? I don't live in your fucking town. I don't want to go anywhere near that town. I'm fucking horrified. I'm already traumatized. Don't want to go near that town. So, people are like, good, we just push her out of our areas. She's the world's problem. I'm your problem too, bitch. Like, the fact that you destroyed me, the fact that I have to disclose this shit and people will realize it from my perspective at some point, that I was just fucked with by the system and fucked with by the authorities for too goddamn long because I kept contradicting them. In an intellectual way at that. Because when you get down to the basics, the facts of it, the logistics of everything, you realize I wasn't in the wrong in any of these circumstances. So when I fucking told him about, being assaulted by the family members, and I said, guess who got arrested? And he looked at me, he was like, damn, you did. I was like, yeah, sure the fuck enough. And that's what caused everything to sort of like steamroll me over, just everything plow me over, just snowball into what you see today. Because they couldn't manage, first of all, when I was 12 years old, to figure what the fuck was going on. So then now, as an adult, they're like, well, we don't know what's wrong with you. You're crazy. Bitch, please. I have been harping for my whole fucking life. So And in everything you catch me doing, nothing but good Samaritan acts. Nothing but Christian, true Christian, nice, quality young lady right here, you know. Never do I actually do anything crazy and that perverse. Sure, showing a little titty here and there, showing a little leg here and there. I just want to be like the other girls, the girls that get everything they want. I just want to be like them. I thought maybe showing off my body finally would get me those things. No, because being a good girl and keeping myself covered didn't do anything. So I'm just trying all these versions of myself in order to see what the fuck I like best. I don't care if I dress slutty or not. That's on you if you think it's slutty. That's on you if you think I'm dressed inappropriately. Completely on you. Because they're clothes to me. Like I saw this girl in the Target yesterday. She had those sort of pants, you know, they come like mid-rise or whatever up here, tight to her waist, and like drawn cartoonishly. I'd be able to do it fairly well because it looked like a certain style of like anime style, where she had her midriff exposed. This girl, she was in her teens or whatever, and she had a fair amount of chest, but she had no bra on, and she had just this white, nasty looking, filthy looking tank top thing, and it was, you know, she just had that, and it was short, barely covering her tits, and you could see the areolas, you could see the darkness of where her nipples were. I saw her walking past at one point and noticed that she had like bare back, you know, that she was exposing her lower back. I didn't see an issue with that. When I saw her walk toward me, I couldn't hold my laughter. I couldn't, because she was so slutty in that outfit, and I thought, you really think you're gonna get through life? You're gonna end up getting hurt. Like, that is gonna bring you nothing but pain later on. That's just how it works. If men know that you're that easy, they still run the world at this point, you're fucked. Completely fucked. So, or she's actually already been molested and everything, and nobody understood why she's acting out in this way, because now she feels safe enough. That's exactly my circumstances, where it's like, finally, I wanted to show off a little bit because I thought I was safe in this time in my life or whatever. So, like when I was wearing those dresses and whatever that got stolen from me. So, back to the real story. Tits McGee over there showing off her nipples and thinking that that's chill. And I'm thinking, why does nobody like ticket people in public for indecent exposure like that? Oh, because she's hot and she's young and everybody loves to see nasty areolas like that. Oh, okay. So people will get in trouble for nasty, you know, underwear hanging out and whatever, all this and that in public, indecent exposure, yada yada, no shirt, no shoes, no service. But that's barely a shirt covering her tits. And you would think that somebody would have told her, but she probably went to public school. So in her mind, she thought it was cool. Like, and I just, I was walking and I was wearing this outfit. So this isn't very provocative at all. I always feel very self-conscious about my body completely. That's why I cover it up a majority of the time. And I just, when she walked toward me and I saw what she was actually wearing, I went, like I couldn't even hold it. I felt so bad because I knew she knew I was laughing at her. And I was holding my phone too, so she probably thought I took a picture or that I like saw her walking past and cared. No, bitch, I didn't care in the slightest. I wasn't jealous, none of that. Rather the opposite. Like, I feel bad for you. And so that's how I feel when it comes to these things, where it's like, whoa, did you need to show off that much skin? Did you know that men are ejaculating to that constantly? And that's why, like, to me, I felt the energy over the times where I had slutty photos floating around with different people, right? Where I was trying to be provocative, showed them cleavage or whatever. Every once in a while, I showed like a nipple picture when I was like dating, online dating, when I had no self-respect. and I realized how detrimental it was to me personally. So I stopped doing all that stuff. At first I thought it was funny. At first I thought, this is, I don't know why people think I care about these individuals. Like, if you look deranged because I've done nothing to you and you're acting out, that's just how it is. You're fucking crazy. I haven't done shit to you. My reality shouldn't be imposed, like, it shouldn't do anything to you. If my reality is hurting you, then there's something that you're in denial of, that my truths clarify, and that's what hurts. That you're a slut, that you're a whore, that, in actuality, you're the problem. And that's why people, they hate me. They're like, what the fuck? So you can get away with it? No, those are my bouts of mental insecurity, and they're exposing themselves slowly. And that's why I showed all those, provocative photos on my Facebook, because that was after I was raped, after I'm forced to have a baby. So I was going to capture what I looked like at that time, because I may never look that nice again. I may never look that pretty ever again. I may not survive this pregnancy. So, that's why I do these things. A big fuck you to everyone around me. So, with the reason it is because something popped up and somebody's crazy trying to defend a crazy person. And I'm like, whatever, you're crazy. Please don't subscribe to me. Do not subscribe to me. If you're just going to go off and try to contradict the shit that I see with my own eyes, my 20/20 vision, if you're going to contradict that, then there's something wrong with you, because there's literally surveillance that can prove me right. So everywhere I go, everything I do, every facet of my life, because I've made sure that I was in the camera's sights at like nearly all times. So anyway, this guy I spent the night with, he started telling me by like 10 o'clock that he was very tired. He gave me his fucking pajamas to wear, and of course I tried to tell him I brought my pajamas, but he was all into it. His head was in one spot thinking like, she's gonna wear my clothes. So I just put on his pants. That's what you wanted. Sure, I'll appease you for a moment. I'll put his pants on. I put on one of his shirts and ate my potato. And as I was eating the potato, I disclosed all that stuff. He said, either there is a warrant or there's not a warrant. He said, I'm going to call today to find out. And I said, well, yeah, because I don't even know. Because the sergeant told me over the phone that it was, it was there. But when I looked it up online, it was not there. It's not, whatever. I'm fucking starving. I don't feel good. It's because I ate right before bed. And then when I wake up, I'm super famished because it didn't take enough time. Like, I wasn't able to digest it well. So I hate eating on a full stomach, because then it just makes me hungrier by morning, So, and I wanted to make a video, but I was hanging out with that dude. I felt it kick externally for the first time yesterday. Like, he's gotten strong enough to now you can feel the vibration outside. So you can feel the kicks now if you push your hand up, enough, and when he's being very active. And I was so startled, and I was so excited that I wanted to state it like on my Facebook and stuff, but I didn't get around to it because of everything that's happened that I'm relaying now. So I ate my potato, and I'm shocked that I haven't contracted COVID by now. Completely shocked. I go in and out of places without masks purposefully, because I don't care if I get contaminated or not. Yet I haven't come in contact with COVID. I mean, I have, obviously. I go all over the place, no mask. I've traveled half the fucking nation during this pandemic, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about my immune system that has gotten stronger, because I had a very weak immune system when I was a child, because my mother didn't breastfeed, because my mother didn't feed me the appropriate things, and my immune system wasn't just my immune system, it was the fact that my parents didn't help keep me healthy and safe. My mother says to this day, she's still in denial, that she had nothing to do with the way that I turned out. Look at her, my siblings, they turned out just fine. No, they're in denial also, and they do not expose any of their issues because they know that you'll flip out. So that's the difference. They keep their mouth shut on purpose because they don't want to offend you. I, on the other hand, do not give a fuck, because these are clearly facts. They're not just me and my opinion. They're clearly facts as to why I am suffering through what I'm suffering through now, because you were obviously a shitty mother. And the same thing with my father. So, clearly, that's what happens. If you cannot raise your offspring like that, you shouldn't be having a shit ton of them. Oh, but you needed that so that you could pay your bills. Yeah, I gotcha. Same thing, same concept with my sister. When she had one that had gotten out of a certain age range, you better pop out another or the system's not going to feed you and your 20 kids. So I find that hilarious, actually, because people think that I'm talking down about everyone and everything. I'm sorry, what? No, we're on the same level here, but the fact that you've done things that have literally destroyed other humans, I don't know what to tell you. Are you a sadist? Are you a masochist? I don't know what's going on. It's none of my business, yeah. But what I see, I can't denounce. What I notice in psychology, I can't denounce. So when I tell people about that, they're like, don't talk to me like that. I don't want to listen. Like, you're in denial then. Stay the fuck away from me. You're part of that closed-minded group that I talk about all the time. And that's not even like I'm talking down about you. I'm seeking help for you because I'm making you realize your reality. And that's where it's like, is Leticia really hurting people? Or is she just making them rationalize some shit? So is she making them confront themselves, confront their issues? And so, like, I'm just walking around like free therapy over here. Let me tell you your problems and get over it, or I'll slap you with some facts, in the face. So that's why my ex-husband hated me, because he could never win an argument. And I was like, excuse me, what? You weren't made to. If you were my husband, then that means that you were there willingly understanding that I've suffered and sustained trauma, and that you were cool with it. You were like, hey, okay, let's get married. And then you fucking leave me for dead. And all the underlying issues, you left me with 2 loaded guns while I was classified as a disabled citizen due to my PTSD and suicidal ideations. You classified me that. Like, that's how you got my disability for me. Immediately, I was accepted for disability. I was never rejected. They knew. They were like, this bitch is crazy. Like, this bitch has issues due to her trauma, and I'm not crazy because of, crazy just on my own. No, she's been traumatized. That's what they saw. They clearly saw it as that. So, anyway, he ended up leaving me with 2 loaded guns. And I sat on those 2 loaded guns for about 2.5, 3 years until I made a video and posted it on YouTube. But since I was so overweight, everyone saw it as me threatening him. Bitch, if I was threatening him, he would already be dead. Like, I sat with those guns for 2.5 fucking years, and you're gonna call me crazy? And just because I publicized it with a video, and that's what was harassing communications, that's what they deemed was harassing communications to my ex-husband. Because I clarified online. They what is that? They neglected my freedom of speech in that. So they literally placed me in jail. I lost everything over their mistake and them violating my constitutional rights as a human being, as a United States citizen. So I have had everything ripped away from me for nonsense because of all the actions of everyone else, and they don't see it from my perspective yet, or they didn't until I started making these videos, disclosing this, meeting more people. I've met a bunch of people that I didn't even know were that important, and I just treated them like normal people. like trash, like normal. And I mean, I'm very nice. I'm actually very polite because I know what it's like to be trash. So I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I give everyone their opportunity to prove that they're worth my time, to prove that they're worth my efforts, and prove to me that they're worth talking to in an intellectual way. And instead, everybody gets butthurt emotionally because I call out their issues and they can't get past that. And I'm thinking, get on with your stupidity. I don't need you in my reality. So anyway, this dude, this is why I'm making this video, mind you. Like, nothing is just happenstance. You know, nothing is like that. It is, everything has a reaction due to, you know, an initial action. So, anyway, what the fuck? Fucking over it. I'm fucking over this reality. Totally over it. Like, if there's another fucking person, I'm literally gonna stab them. Literally. And then I'm gonna get in trouble for it. Watch. You know? It's like I'm defending myself from stupid. And watch me get in trouble, though. Watch. Watch them blame me. Because every fucking time I act out physically, I'm defending myself, and they don't see it that way. They see it as me going off the deep end. No one did anything. No one touched you. Bitch, yeah, they fucking did. Yeah, they fucking did. So, and there's the difference, because I don't get hyped up unless somebody is stealing from me, or, you know, all these different attributes of true violation. So, this guy, we had only exchanged like a side hug from, you know, so I thought he was going to stay appropriate toward me. So he gets into his, I don't know if they were shorts. I guess they were shorts. And that was it. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then he said, well, you can come and sleep with us, me and the dog. You know, he sleeps with his little dog, the little Yorkie. And you can come and lay down in the bed with us. And it was just a little full-size mattress on the floor. There wasn't any. And I was like, okay, fine. He had a decent couch, but I thought, you know, he's going to want me to sleep next to him because of his own issues, because he's going to think that I'm in his house stealing if I'm not right next to him, because that's how all men think. But then you'll fuck a bitch, fall asleep, let her roam around your fucking house, and then blame her afterward for feeling violated and stealing from you. Right, because that makes sense. So, like, you literally let a random bitch, if she'll fuck you, over to your house. You don't give a fuck what they do. But if it's just some random stranger just wanting some salvation, some help, talking about Jesus and God, that's the ones you want to take advantage of. Wow. Wow, nice. So this dude had Bibles all over his house because he was some type of whatever, preaching nonsense bullshit. But let me tell you how they are in closed, confined spaces. So we laid down, after I ate, and placed my dish in the sink. I had another potato and disclosed all that stuff. He was getting